Who does progress belong to? It is not just for a select few. It can be enjoyed by those who celebrate priceless moments on their own terms. Progress is for anyone who seeks to defy the odds and pursue their dream. It is not restricted by age, time, or pace. Progress means bringing your business dreams to life, regardless of your background. It is for anyone brave enough to take the step they never thought they could. As the bank that believes in people, we believe progress is for everyone. Who does progress belong to? It is not just for a select few. It can be enjoyed by those who celebrate priceless moments on their own terms. Progress is for anyone who seeks to defy the odds and pursue their dream. It is not restricted by age, time, or pace. Progress means bringing your business dreams to life, regardless of your background. It is for anyone brave enough to take the step they never thought they could. As the bank that believes in people, we believe progress is for everyone.
This is Ali. This is Ali's boss. And this is how we do things at RHB.
Hey brother, everything will be fine.
Because at RHB, together we progress isn't just a promise to those who have placed their trust in us. It's also the way we work to help progress their journey. Which means everyone knows their role and works together for the common goal. Right guys? See, no hierarchy, only efficiency. And efficiency is everything to us.
What if we try using a lock wheel key?
Or maybe we spray it with WD-40?
Okay, let me try stepping on it real hard.
But does that mean that failure is not an option? No, because it doesn't matter how many times we fail. We are always trying to look for ways to improve. If anyone has an idea that improves efficiency,
What if we use an extendable wheelbase instead?
all they have to do is say it. And we will hear it. Yes, Jane? The more efficient we are, the better we can serve our customers. The faster we can accomplish our tasks,
and the faster we can enjoy what we love. Thank you. Like this.
we are proud to be the first bank in Southeast Asia to embrace Agile across the organization. RHB's Agile culture provides employees with greater autonomy, better flexibility, and higher employee engagement. But don't just take our word for it. Join us today to see what RHB Agile is all about.
Who does progress belong to? It is not just for a select few. It can be enjoyed by those who celebrate priceless moments on their own terms. Progress is for anyone who seeks to defy the odds and pursue their dream. It is not restricted by age, time, or pace. Progress means bringing your business dreams to life, regardless of your background. It is for anyone brave enough to take the step they never thought they could. As the bank that believes in people, we believe progress is for everyone.
This is our
Welcome to RHB's forum session entitled Building a Career in Data Science and Analytics. Just to introduce myself, I'm Sridhar Harichandran, an Executive Counselor in the Careers Office of UKEC, and I'll be moderating the sessions today. I'm incredibly excited to introduce our speaker for the day, Nick Tan Chong Min. Nick is a Senior Data Scientist, Retail and SME Banking Analytics Chapter, Group Analytics COE. He is responsible for assisting business units in solving business problems using advanced data analytics, such as statistical models and machine learning models. Prior to joining RHB Group, Nick was a principal engineer in Western Digital. He was in the new product innovation and the R&D heads and media department throughout his tenure. He has 13 years of professional working experience, with more than 8 years focusing on data analysis, statistics, and modeling. Nick holds a bachelor's degree in electronics engineering, majoring in telecommunications. In his free time, he enjoys cooking and working out, as well as playing online games. I can certainly say that I can't wait to hear from him. And with that, I'll pass it on to Nick to begin.
Okay. Hi everyone. So I think this is the last session for today, right? So here's the agenda for today, where we are going to talk about building a career in data science and analytics. Okay, so let's go through. Here are the agendas. So we're going to talk about me again. Then we're going to talk a bit on data science in the financial institution. Then we're going to have a 3-part series talking about building a career in data science and analytics. Then we will wrap it out with a closing and also a Q&A. So without further ado, let's start this. Oops. So this is about me, right? So I'm born on March 14, 1986. Yes, I am that old. already. I'm 36 this year. I am a Malaysian 100%, unless my parents lie about this. After graduate, I joined Western Digital at 2009 until it shut down, and I joined RHB at 2019. I'm still here. Right? I love to cook. I've mastered it thanks to COVID. I game a lot, right? But yeah, that's basically roughly about me in a very high level. Okay. So moving next. So what is data science? Right. Data science, according to my good friend Wikipedia, is interdisciplinary fields that uses scientific methods, processes, algorithms, systems to extract knowledge and insights from noisy, structured, and unstructured data, and apply knowledge and actionable insights from data across a broad range of applications domain. Phew, that was a very long sentence, right? But this is my take on data science. Data science to me is often confused, right? Often confused with people regarding building complex mathematical model, but it's not actually that way. In my perspective, data science is about using data to create as much impact as possible to your company. What kind of impact, you might say? In financial terms, it's always in dollars and cents, it's in money. But jokes aside, impact can be in many forms. For example, it can be about what is the next best credit card campaign I should run, right? What is the target audience that we want to target for this campaign? What behavior we want to change? So all of this actually can be derived and answer from the data itself through their demographic data, through their behavioral or psychographic data. So there is a lot of ways we can utilize the data right now, thanks to the emergence of technology, right? It can also be in a form of insights. For example, building a prediction model to predict who will most likely default their loan, right? So that the bank can extend a restructural program to them before they fall into that particular position. So how do we do all of this right now? So there are so much available tools that we have right now in terms of the machine learning models, in terms of platform. So they are now tremendously easy and very easy to accessible, very easy and accessible. But the main fundamental core that we always say of it is that we are using data and analytics to actually solve real business problem, which brings me to my next slide. We'll be talking about the applications of data science in financial institutions. Right, in RHB itself, we all are using a lot of data to do various things like risk data aggregation and reporting. We are using data for AML, anti-money laundering and compliance. We are also using machine learning models to detect fraud, cybersecurity threats as well. So in other ways, we are using data for financial trading applications to build up algorithms for trading, and also for payments, consumer banking, and also wealth management, where we have models to go and manage your portfolio. So there are a lot of applications right now thanks to technology and thanks to the abundance of data now readily made available for us. So I'll move into a deeper understanding on a fraud-related use case, where currently we are able with the enablement of technology, we are able to visualize the entire customer's profile of how they interact with their money. For example, in this case, we are using the data to do fraud detection. Using graph analytics, we are able to visualize the relationship of multiple customers and how the transaction workflows. With Python library like NetworkX, you are able to easily compute in features for us to detect such as sensitivity, and which will be used for model building later on. Previously, before machine learning and models came in, fraud detections is mainly based on rule-based basis and is not very accurate. With machine learning right now, we can build models to predict fraud at a much more accurate rate. In this way, the investigator has lesser cases to study so that they can focus and get into the right action directly. So this has significantly changed the way how we look at data, especially in fraud detection. So this is just a quick, small example on fraud detection. Then I'll move into key roles in data science analytics and RHB. So we have, to make up the entire RHB analytics group, we have 4 main pillars of the group that we have. One of the pillars is data engineering. In RHB, in our analytics COE, we have data engineers that are driving the platform and data capability for the group. They are the one that builds up the foundation of the network architecture so that data scientists like us could actually consume the data and provide new insights to the company, right? And on the right-hand side, we have the campaign management specialists. So this group of people are specialized in campaign management, where they are the one that is doing the customer engagement and communication. At the bottom left, we have data scientist group, which is my group that I'm currently in. We drive data expertise in terms of data solutions to provide to businesses such as retail, SME, insurance, securities, functional groups such as fraud, compliance, risk, and AML. So basically, we are the one receiving a business problem from the ground and then transform it into an analytical problem so that we can solve it. Then the final group that we have is most likely on the back-end side of it, where this group of data scientists, right, they are more focused on building capabilities. For example, enabling elastic search, enabling new technologies for AI, machine learning capabilities. So these 4 groups of people is actually our basic building blocks for our analytics COE in RHB Bank. So I move on to the core of this presentation of career building in data science and analytics. So I'll split this into 3 main sectors. Number 1, wanting the job. Number 2, getting the job. And the third part is doing the job. So I'm going to split it to 3 different sections for this. So coming into the main discussion, first question, wanting the job. I think a lot of you are just going to graduate or have already graduated, right? Then it will come to this point where you start clicking the jobs that you are looking at your online, right? You're looking for jobs, right? Then you will start to ask this question to yourself. Is this for me? Can I do this? I have no clue about programming. Let me share a bit of experience about myself. Like what I said just now, I've worked in a factory as an engineer for 10 years, right? And then when the company shuts down, I realized that there is opportunity for me to move right now, right? Even with me having no specific knowledge, especially in the data science world, I feel that it's still possible to be done. So there are certain certifications that I took beforehand, and also I took an important point of life is I took the leap of faith, right? I moved from manufacturing engineering into data science financial, which is totally 2 different fields, right? So I have friends telling me when I make that decision, right? Then people were telling me that banking is tough. Banking working hours is long, right? Everything is very slow in bank because it's a traditional kind of company, right? A traditional kind of organization, which is actually very opposite with data science. But when I joined RHB, everything changed. Everything is totally different than what other people's perspective were. The hours is not long, right? So as long as you manage your work properly, and the structure is not that rigid. I mean to say that everything moves very fast because RHB uses agile fundamentals as their key working principle, where projects are being sped up to small sprints and MVP. So things work in RHB a lot faster than I ever seen, even though in a factory, which is actually quite interesting, where the adoption of analytics for banking, especially in RHB, is actually at a very high level, where businesses, even C-suites, are very, very adaptive to the model, and they welcome us, especially us data scientists, providing them new insights and new ideas. So this is my experience joining from a totally different field, from engineering to data science, right? So I believe there are some key points, key skills and traits that I feel that you guys might be wanted to put some note in it that I'm going to show next. So what skills do you I feel that is very important and also very valuable to you, to a person as a data scientist or someone in practicing the data science field? One of it is patience. patience in a way that you will be tested, especially for people that just are trying out in this field, that you do not have much experience in programming, especially in Python, right? You're gonna spend a tremendous amount of hours trying to debug your script, finding that missing semicolon somewhere, right? Definitely you have to fail. You will be tested again and again on your patience, because not every model you create will be deployed. Not every insights that you generate will be accepted. So patience and perseverance is definitely one of the key traits that you must have as a good either data scientist or a data engineer or data analyst, right? Second most important thing I feel that someone practicing data science should have is curiosity, where the person must have the thirst to know more, of to discover, to find out things, how things work, how they are connected, how are they being run. Because all of these traits, especially the curiosity, will drive you to find new insights. Then the third part I will say that is important is actually on your openness. Because when a business throws a problem at you, you need to look at it at a different perspective. For example, if a business throws to you a problem on iteration, you might want to look at it at the customer's perspective instead of looking at the business perspective. The ability for you to look at a different perspective changes the way how you provide the insight, changes the way how you provide the solution to it. So openness is one of the key traits that I feel that a good person in data science should have. Then in terms of creativity, here is the one that we normally messed up, right? To me, creativity is imagined as, just imagine that every single knowledge you gain, whether you pick up a new skill in programming, whether you learn a new mathematical model or anything, even you know something regarding certain business, imagine all of them are dots in your life. The ability for you to connect all the dots and frame up a picture, that is creativity. How good you are in creativity changes the way how you deliver your insights, how you deliver your problems. So that is a way that I feel that is very important, that you must be very good at connecting the dots, because that you will be tested this when you start building models, because you will need to proxy certain behavior from a different set of data, right? So on the technical portion, I will summarize it very quickly. So on the technical portion, definitely you will need to have statistical knowledge, and also on especially on machine learning, because the basic fundamental of modeling is actually mathematics. But as a data scientist or as anyone in the financial field, we are not really academician, right? So the understanding of statistics is not to really uncover the entire mathematical algorithm of the model, but it's just to understand how the model is being derived and how are you using it, how are you quantifying whether this model works or doesn't work. So that is my take on the statistical and machine learning knowledge. In terms of programming, Python and R will be the most common language you will see when you go for job interviews and everything. For working level, for working in corporates and organizations, you will notice that majority of the employers will ask for Python. But if you go for academic, they will ask for R. So there is a significant distinct two different roles between academic and also in working in the corporate to apply data science. Then the final skills that I feel that is important is actually SQL query, your SQL. So that is the most core fundamental of data extraction. If you understand the philosophy behind the SQL, it can be implemented to other programming language, even onto Python as well. So getting your SQL knowledge up is actually quite important to have a very good foundation that when you want this job. So with all the skills that I mentioned and the reasons why you should have it and you need to have it, so which brings us to the next topic, right? After you are clear that you want this job, you want this career, right? Then we move to the second phase of it, which we want to get that job, right? How do we gonna ace that interview, right? What you will need, I mean, a good CV is a definite, right? Some clear CVs that have examples of what you have done, right? Things that, especially the things that you have done before, because your interviewer gonna ask you questions about it. If you try to to cheat your way through, most likely it will be recorded. The person will know, definitely, right? So that's on the CV. Then we'll move to one part. I think not a lot of people is aware on the GitHub. So GitHub is a place where you can furnish all your past work up into the internet, right? People can view, can see your code, can see your output. The reason why this is important, if I take in an analogy like professional fashion models, right? They have their portfolio of their previous catwalks and everything. GitHub is your professional portfolio for a data scientist or a data engineer, because that is how the interviewer going to perceive how exposed you are, how well you handle your programming and things like that. Because to be honest, it's not fair that if I will interview you right now and I ask you technical questions on the spot, right? Even me myself, I can't memorize syntax, I can't memorize the coding, right? It's virtually impossible. I've known Python gurus with 15 or 20 years experience still Googling for scripts, right? Which is perfectly normal. So that's why having a GitHub, at least the person, the interviewer knows what have you been working on, right? Knows your fundamentals of program or machine learning or modeling, right? So that is a very important tool. I start to see people's CV start to have, but majority of the CV still does not have it. So for you guys graduates, that if you have a final year project or you have a side project that you do, upload it up, right? It will be useful one day if you want to walk on this path, on this data science career. Then finally, I would say, show that your interviewer that you are committed and curious. Curiosity will be the main one, because in this line of work, especially in data scientists, we need very curious bunch, people that will dig and find information and find data, like where, and then derive new insights. If you are too traditional, it's kind of hard to look at things that divider perspective, then you're gonna have a hard time figuring out the new insights. So show that you are committed, show that you are curious, right? So that is my take on the, what do you call it? On my take on the things that maybe employers are looking at, or at least I'm looking at. Okay, so I'll move on to the next one. So yeah, okay, doing the job. Congrats, you got the job, you aced the interview, right? This is you on your first day, right? You have tremendously clueless about everything. So I remember my first day working in RHB. Being confined in a factory for 10 years and moving to a corporate office is a whole new world for me, right? Factories tends to be very procedural. You have fixed things about every single thing, how you put your pen, everything has a SOP for it, right? In the corporate world, it's a bit more different, right? In a regular office, it's much more open. You see a lot of things. So my expression on my first day, I remember, I look exactly like Homer over here, right? I was clueless, I was excited, but mostly I was very curious. Very curious in terms of when I look at the amount of data being made available for us to study, it's tremendous. There are so much data, so many ways you can utilize data, and so much insights you can derive from. So it makes me superbly interested, right, and superbly curious and how this data could do, which leads us to the next part of the story, right, where once you got the job, expectation versus reality, right? Often on the left-hand side, when you join as a data scientist, the first thing you got on your mind is that I'm going to build an ultimate model that's going to predict the end of the world or something like that, right? You imagine yourself using 75% of the time building the model, and then the rest is just as usual. But in reality, it's totally different. In reality, data extraction and data cleansing will take up 70% of the time. Reason why? In the real world, data is not necessarily clean. Data is not necessarily stored in one location. In the actual world, data are stored everywhere, right? So there are needs for you to get the right data in, and then you need to validate the data whether it's correct. Then you would need to find a way to figure out how you're going to join all these multiple data from multiple sources. So data extraction would definitely take you a significant chunk of time. Then moving on, you will move to data cleansing. To be honest, even in any kind of at any kind of company, when you deal with data, you will sure have data that either it's blank, it's missing, or it produces funny values, right? Regardless of it, it always will happen. So you will spend significant amount of time trying to clean the data, do your exploratory data analysis, and also do your feature engineering to go and make sense of the data. So that would definitely take 40% of the time. Then you will come to what we call the sexy part of the job, right? Is to build the model, right? To be honest, building model right now has become so much easier comparing with maybe I think 4 to 6 years ago, right? Now writing a Python command, I think about 6 lines will get you the model running. It's not that hard to run a model, to build a model anymore. And with the emergence of technology, there are now workbench that assist you to build the best model. So building a model has become an art that does not require that much finesse. So I would say that it will just take up maybe 10% of your time to build up the model and validate it. If you are very familiar with it, it might be even shorter. Then coming to the final part of it, right? You build the model, right? It's very, very accurate. Then that is the part that you need to turn it to an insight, to present it to the board, to present it to the management. That is where your skills come in to go and come up. How do you display things at a different perspective? Because whatever you have done from the 30% of data extraction, the data cleansing, the modeling, the 80% of the work you have done is all in technical terms. The person that receives your insights and everything are business people, most likely management. So the ability for you to convert all these technical things into a slide that the business can understand, that will be a deciding factor, whether your models will get implemented or not, or whether your insights did mean anything to them. So there is every time a lack of understanding that we believe data scientists should be very good at programming, very good at maths, which I believe is not entirely true. You can build the best model to predict the end of the world, but if you can't get it out, no one will believe you, no one will see it, right? I think recently there's a show on Netflix talking about a meteor crashing to Earth, right? But no one believed it because there was no good way of them showing them out. The presenter can't present the information out properly. So it's the same for us, especially you guys just graduated. Do put some note in it that conveying the message out is equally important as you building the model and everything. So that is what is the reality and what is the expectation and reality of a data scientist or anyone applying the data science role right now. At least my take. So I'll move on to the next one. So this is I'm gonna go almost done with my presentation, but yeah. So this is in the future, data science, right? Maybe in the 22nd century, this will still be relevant because as digitalization getting more and more common and because of more and more traditional applications are more moving to digital, there is an explosive amount of data comparing 15, 20 years ago and now. Even your smartphones are generating so much data that you don't even know, right? So the demand for the people in data science will continue to be very, very high. The need for new creative ways, right, to discover data, to analyze data, to discover insights will definitely be very, very important. That's why you all are here today, right, to understand whether where does this data science field is going, whether can I fit this field or not. So rest assured, for example, someone told me something very important, which I put the quote on the bottom right, where to get something you never had, you need to do something you never did. So to me, that was the leap of faith for me moving from engineering to data science, right? But if you guys are already here and you guys feel that you have the drive to and the curiosity to know more, to learn more, this field is the field for you because the rate of the whole data science world is shifting. It's actually every week, every month, there's someone come up with a new methodology or a new model, right? It's ever changing and it will continue to change because ultimately, I would say in the future, Terminator will be true, right? AIs will be true because when you do machine learning long enough, right, you'll notice that everything points towards that direction. decisions are being made by machine or by the AI more than the human right now. For example, if you go to Google and you just search for something, you will see your Google ads all showing the stuff that you searched just now, because now the machine learning models are implemented in Google ads so that they understand what you have been searching. So I show you things that you want to see, right? So in conclusion, data science field is thriving. If you guys are new, you are guys are unsure. From my experience, I see because I am in the data science field, I have people rotating under the RHB graduate program. They rotated from HR to analytics. I think I got a fair share, about 5 to 6 people from various fields. I have people majoring in psychology, right? And they rotated to my department for 6 months so that I can teach them on analytics. I think it was not bad. I think in the third month, the person can already do basic analysis and also almost doing the model. Right, I have a management associate right now with my group right now, starting to build models at the 4th month. So to me, it's possible if you want to. I have a lot of success story from my team, right, where I've seen people grow from business to analytics, right, to data scientists, right. So definitely the main point is whether are you keen enough to go for it. That would be what I feel that's most important. So so that's a wrap for my side. I want to open more time for Q&A because I know you guys are graduating soon. You have a lot of questions. Based on what I know from RHB right now, there are 2 programs available. One is on the internship program, one is on the graduate program. So the graduate program, if I can steal about 3 minutes from you, the graduate program is a program where students can apply in and then they get rotated every 6 months to different various departments so that they can see how the bank works, right? Learn different skills. Some of the people, when they are keen to analytics, they will rotate to my department, right? If they want to extend their rotation, I'm all okay with it. As long as HR is okay with it. But my point is, RHB have programs to specifically train people for, especially in the data science portion. So that's the main gist of it. So as a final closing to the graduates over here, I feel that there are significant opportunities if you wanted to try this field. Definitely, I think like the previous talk that you hear on talents, right? Your first job won't define your rest of your career, but it will shape your personality. It will shape who roughly your foundation will be. Having an analytical foundation is actually very, 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 very powerful. So that is my final, I would say, final advice or insights for you guys. I hope I don't bore you guys. Right. So let me see. So I'm going to open it for Q&A. Is there any specific question, or should I pull it from it?
Yeah, just to jump in, we've actually received quite a few questions during your presentation. So I think, to be honest, I do want to start with a question of my own. And I just wanted to ask what the transition was like from studying to working as an engineer, then again from engineer to a data scientist. Was it a difficult transition?
The very honest answer is whatever I learned in engineering school, I applied less than 5% of it. Because 95% of what you've learned is actually fundamentals, and that technology is not available anymore. So the only time I managed to use engineering, right, is maybe at the most fundamental, at the 5% of what I've learned for the past 4 years. So that was a different expectation. For example, like what I said, expectation versus reality. When I graduate from School of Engineering, I thought I'm going to be the next Tony Stark, building an Iron Man armor, right? But in the reality, working in a factory for 10 years, manufacturing hard disks, I've never actually opened a hard disk before. I've designed hard disks, but it's all purely based on data and based on signals. We virtually did not even touch the hard disk for 10 years, right? So that was a a very big difference in terms of when shifting from graduating to working, right? Then moving to my second part, when I moved from engineering to data science, then that was another different kind of life, right? Because engineering tends to be very, very rigid, very very strong. It's the equation 1 + 1 = 2. It will forever be 2. Data science is a bit different. There is an art to data science because there's a way of how you visualize data, how you deliver insight. It can be bent. So that's why it's a two different principle, but the core fundamental is the same. So as long as you are curious, you wanted to understand things, mostly you will be very successful, because the curiosity will drive you to insights, and insights are the one that the company is actually looking for. Your insights will generate maybe new ideas, in the ultimate form for a bank, new opportunity to earn more money, right? So definitely that is my take on the change between engineering to data science.
Yeah. Also, as an engineering student, it was a little bit frightening to hear that you've used only 5%. But I mean, I think something else that a really interesting question that I see in the chat is, I think, especially in more engineering roles, I think there's a lot more importance placed on personal projects. So what kind of project would you recommend students wanting to pursue a career in data science, and most specifically data science in the finance industry?
Okay, in terms of data science in the finance industry, definitely use case like segmentation models are important, because there are so much data right now and so many types of customer. Doing the right segmentation is actually a very important tool, because segmentation can drive where the company can put their direction to. For example, if your customer now is moving towards the younger side, so if your model can detect the younger segment younger customers' behavior, then it might give a new insight to the bank to say that, oh, this type of customer, we should do this kind of strategy, not that kind of strategy, because their behavior is totally different, right? So segmentation projects are good. The new age kind of analysis, data science project, I would say, are computer vision. For example, currently right now, you are applying a loan, for example, right? You write tremendously a lot of stuff in that loan paper, right? Currently, you need a human to go and translate to digital, right? With now machine learning and everything, now the machine can go and read what you wrote and translate it to the system, and then ultimately do the analysis and everything. So computer vision is the key new things that the financial institutions are looking at. So in terms of for applications, because there's tons of tons of paperwork in a bank, right? If you can find a model that can 100% capture every single one's writing, regardless of you're writing in English, Chinese, or whatever, right? So it's definitely some projects that are very good for you guys to explore. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I think one of the questions that I'm seeing pop up quite often is, I think I'm just going to read out the one from Cash. For individuals who do not have qualifications in data science and analytics and are only relying in their interest and curiosity in the field, do you think that's substantial?
Yep. I lost you for a sec, Srida.
Oh, okay. Let me just repeat myself.
Oh,
so
I found the questions in the chat. Okay. So in terms
great.
of those that do not have the qualification, I'm here without the qualification, right? I work out fine. So if you guys really wanted to get the qualifications, there are tons of courses available. Udemy, Coursera, right, are the most the most accessible one, especially Udemy. Udemy has flash sales every few days. If you see the price does not fit you, you just refresh and wait another day. The price will go down below $50, right? So there are tons of costs. For what I said, having your GitHub is important. If you practice your machine learning and everything from Udemy, you can actually take that script and try to practice it and put it into GitHub, so your employer can see that you have been exposed. Definitely, like people like me that doesn't have data science field, because this data science did not exist during my time when I studied. Right, there was 15, I don't know, 15 years ago, right? This field did not exist. But I managed to land a job here working pretty fine right now. So definitely for people that do not have the accreditation or do not have the qualification, don't be discouraged. Go to Udemy, go to Coursera, get those courses because they are certified. Get that in, then upload, show your GitHub. I'm sure that you will be on the way to get that kind of job. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, we have another question from Yenru, which I'm also very curious about. What are the emerging industries relevant to data analytics in Malaysia?
Okay, so if you heard, definitely the next big thing will be digital banks, right? Bank Negara right now is going to announce soon on the digital banks licenses. So that is another financial and a financial institution kind of things. But if you talk about technology, e-commerce will be one of the latest, the ones that are emerging right now. For example, Lazada, Shopee, they run tremendous amount of data, right? If for now, even I've seen what I call it, I've seen services rendered to small restaurants and cafe where professional consultants come and give advice to small businesses, like when should they prepare more food, when should they how much food they should buy in order to ensure there's no wastage. So there are machine learning and data being churned out in the retail world, especially in food line retail restaurants or so. So there are, I would say that eventually the data application will sweep through all of the industry because ultimately decisions will be made based on data. That is my take.
Yeah, just to carry on from that, I think I also was just curious about how the data analytics industry in Malaysia is compared to abroad, like especially in places like the UK. Is there a big difference in the industry?
I think in terms of industry, the adoption rate will be most likely the key significant difference between it, right? Malaysia is still quite new in the data science field, I would say. Only the last 3 to 4 years that it really picked up, right? While as somewhere in UK, it's already been quite normal already, right? A lot of the decisions are already run based on data-driven, or either a machine or AI is making that call. So in terms of, I would say, difference between Malaysia and UK will be most likely the adoption rate. The adoption rate will be the key of it. In terms of talents, definitely Malaysia is a bit short because the field of data science is just been started. I think the first graduate happened 2 years ago, right? 2 to 3 years ago, Malaysia starts to have their own data science program where people start graduating from there. So in terms of technical skill sets, I would say Malaysia is still a bit behind because we started a bit slow. But based on it's a good opportunity actually with this term, right? Because the demand for data science people, right, is extremely high over here. Because the number one is everyone want to apply it, but not everyone have that knowledge or talent to do so. So those, especially you guys are interested in this, right? You come back with the fundamentals and everything, right? Definitely, I would say that the career opportunity is actually very wide in Malaysia.
Yeah, I think that really answered my question quite well. And I just wanted to jump to this other question that I think is also quite interesting. This is a question from Marvin. He said that it was really insightful that some of the data modeling only requires 10 lines at most, and was wondering what would the roles be for interns associates just joining the company.
Mm-hmm.
Would they be rotated in different roles or mainly focusing on a specific task, such as extraction or presentation?
Okay, so I saw Marvin's question in the chat. Yeah, good question. So especially, I cannot comment for everyone, but in RHB under the graduate program, right? If you are rotated to my department, you're gonna go through the full end-to-end process of the whole thing. I'm not gonna just ask you to do extraction. You're gonna do the data extraction, you're gonna do the data cleansing, you're gonna do the modeling, and you're gonna do the presentation. Because I believe that if there is opportunity that you discover a new thing, that is important because this important milestone in your life that you will remember, the sense of achievement, whether did you really manage to get it up or you did not manage to get up, it's not important because the mark that you will leave on you is very important. So my philosophy for any graduates coming in, right, under the internship program or the graduate program, I will try to ensure that everyone gets a fair share opportunity. You will not be just a helper just trying to clean up someone's mess. No, that is not my philosophy. My philosophy is to ensure that you guys come in, you guys wanted to learn and wanted to experience the whole data science thing, right? My role is to ensure that you guys get that experience. So yeah, and hopefully you guys don't come after me like, why is there so much work? But that is the fact. That is the fact. I don't believe in interns coming in just to handle a particular portion of the work, because you can't see end to end. You can't see the big picture. And eventually when the program ends, you can't appreciate. Right? So that is my philosophy. Especially when you rotate to my team.
Yeah, just touching on what you said, there's a couple questions here just a bit more specific about RHB. One from Chai Jin, and she's asking, have you encountered any work-wise difficulties in RHB, and who did you turn to for advice and consultation? How supportive is RHB in aiding employees?
Okay, so this is a very broad question. If you're talking about technical terms, right, in terms of if you have difficulty in terms of getting certain sets of data, if you get difficulty understanding certain sets of data, to that extent of a problem, from my experience working in RHB, the culture here is very open. You can, if you want, you can pick up the call. Before COVID, I will walk to the person's office, right, and directly ask the person themselves. They are willing to share that knowledge. They are willing to teach you that. So to me, in terms of problems, dealing with people to get information, I don't really have much of a problem dealing with people getting data, getting information. I'm actually quite surprised. I was told bank being very, very defensive of staff, right? But it's not over here. To be honest, I can literally walk to any single department and ask questions, because part of my job especially is to ask a lot of questions and to understand a lot of things. So in terms of this, to be honest, I really did not have much difficulty getting information out from people, right? And if really I do, right, if it's a non-technical kind of question, if it's a HR-related question, I have a wonderful bunch of HR over here, right? They are more than willing to help me, right? Even like now on a weekend, right? Even they are helping me with some HR stuff. So in terms of non-technical, I would say the people here tends to be a lot, I would say it's very nice if I compare with the factory. But yeah, the people are nice. So the most important thing is do ask, because people don't read minds. If you ask, then you will be answered. That is my experience for the past 3 years, I guess, over here. Been wonderful.
That's amazing to hear. Sarshan asked, would you mind sharing one of the most interesting projects you've worked with in RHB?
Oh, interesting projects. Some of them are quite classified, but I would say the most interesting projects were when we built a segmentation model, right, which leads to a design of a new product, because there was interesting insights being generated, behaviors that we did not see before, right? So we found that there is significant amount of people that exhibit that kind of behavior, and we built a product around that behavior, and that product was actually quite successful in terms of acceptance. So that is one of the interesting projects that I have done. There are a lot more interesting projects that we are trying to do right now on computer vision, right? So I would say there's so much data right now. There's so much things I want to do, but yeah, I mean, time is my biggest enemy over here. But yeah, I would say that there's a lot of projects, sometimes even projects that is quite ridiculous. I sometimes bring it up to management and they give me a go and ask me to allow us to try. Because most important thing about data science is a lot of experiments, a lot of trial. So especially in RHB, I'm quite thankful that they are always willing to listen and willing to try. So it's a very good space, especially for us, for you guys new to this field or new to the working world. You are given opportunity to try.
Yeah, I think one question that definitely sounds interesting is from Akif. In Western countries, data analytics are widely used in sports. For example, the Premier League and NBA apply statistics such as percentage of three-pointers scored from X yards or expected goal in the second half of a football game. On that note, Do you think companies such as RHB Bank should collaborate with local sports clubs to use more data analytics in their post-game analysis just to enhance performance?
Yeah, I think partnership is one thing that we in RHB, and there's a dedicated group that helps us to do the partnership, right? We are very, very advocate of partnership with other companies to get more information because, for example, as an individual or the bank, right, you only know what you have in your circle. But if you can widen the circle, then you have even more richer insights. So definitely there are partnerships talking about a lot of stuff or getting more information, more data in, right? So to enhance the model, to enhance our understanding and insight. So definitely partnership is something that we are all keen to work on.
Yeah, I mean, that also sounds amazing. I think it's nice to know how relevant data analytics is not just to banking, but also how it can be applied to other fields. I think also just for someone who's looking to get into data analytics, I think a question that I'm seeing come up a lot is about taking extra courses before starting your career journey. So I think generally people are just curious about if taking a short course would be enough to compete with like a fresh graduate if you're starting your career journey, or just to be on the same level and to be able to understand.
I would say that, okay, looking at that perspective, right? So if let's say you graduated with a data science degree, and someone that just took maybe 120 hours of Udemy courses on data science, when the CV reaches my hand, right, it's actually quite the same. The only thing I see is your background is different. One of it might come from data science, one of it might come from, for example, engineering. The only thing that distinguishes you differently is just that degree. But if both of you have your GitHub ready, you have displayed your past work, right? When I review it, I see both how you guys do your machine learning models, how you guys clean your data. I already have a perception of an idea already. So in terms of the difference between skill sets, I would say that if you can show up to the level of what your professional course is showing in your GitHub, I think you're good to go, right? I don't think I will be saying, oh, because this guy have a 2 years fundamental in data science, then he should be better. He might not be, because maybe he got a better way to score his exam, but doesn't mean he have a better way to give me insights. He might not have a better way in giving me solutions. Because one of the key things I do test in my interview sessions is the curiosity and the creativity part, right? That is something that you really can't, you really can't learn from your degree, right? It's something that you naturally have, or you naturally hone and polish it. I remember my first time interviewing RHB Bank, right? They asked me something that I do not know, right? Then there was examination questions on that particular programming language. I turned in a blank sheet of paper, even though it's objective, right? When the interviewer asked me why I submitted a blank sheet of paper, I told them I never wrote that skill in my CV, even though it's subjective. If I manage to circle all the answers and get it right, it still does not reflect me, right? So to me, whether you have a degree or not is one of the things. Whether you have the skills or not, that is the important point. Whether you have that trait or not as a good data scientist, that is different. So I would say that degree is required, but it's not the end of the world, right? I currently have 5 graduates under me coming from various backgrounds, some from engineering, some from marketing, some from business. So I took them all in, right, under my own data science project, under our own data science program last year. So to me, having a degree, yes, you will be a bit more advantageous comparing with the rest. But if you do not have the degree, make it up by taking the courses, and also furnishing your GitHub nicely. I'm sure that you're gonna be either on par or better than the rest of the people, because out of maybe 100 CV, I only see like 10 CV with GitHub link provided, right? So I'm talking about not just fresh grade, I'm talking about experienced people working for 5 to 10 years, right? They don't provide. So that is something that you guys might want to consider.
Yeah, I think now, especially after the pandemic, we're seeing more and more people turn to online courses and more unconventional methods and courses. And I think that's something that's definitely interesting to see. Just to jump into a more technical question, data visualization is quite vital to visualize our machine learning output. Do the data scientist team also create the web application for that? Or is there another team who will be doing it by passing the API? And that's from Joshua.
Okay, so I'm not sure about other organizations, but in my organization right now, we do everything from head to tail. Means to say, the visualization we will generate it ourselves. The reason why we do it because ultimately the whole story need to be conveyed by yourself or someone on your team, right? You need to generate that kind of storyboard, right? Definitely the visualization will go on hand, right? So in group analytics, especially in data scientists, we normally do from data extraction to machine learning models to deployment, everything by ourselves. Even the visualization to the business, we will definitely, do it ourselves, because the final outcome of your 2 to 3 weeks hard work, right, will be in the form of presentation to the management or to the board, right? Definitely you will want your visualization there, because you are going to tell the story from there, right? Passing it on to someone else to generate and then coming back to you, you will not be able to answer the questions later on. So in terms of visualization, I would say that we will suggest, we do the visualization by ourselves, because you are the one telling that story.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much for sharing your insights on that. I think we have this question from Sao Shen, which is rather interesting too. How is personally identifiable information and data of clients and customers that are used in training models for fraud detection and so on and so forth protected? Are synthetic data sets used?
So in terms of data privacy and everything, right? So we talk about the architecture itself. Every single query done, right, is actually being tracked. So if you are looking at things that you shouldn't be looking, or you are looking at specific customer information, that will be tracked. So yeah, that is our golden rule, especially when you work in data science field. Customer information, any kind of PII data, is actually tremendously sensitive, right? That is one. So in terms of how does data being protected? Right now, there are a lot of encryption available, right? MD5 encryption, hashing encryption. So there are a lot of encryption happening right now, right, to prevent data from going out, right? People do not know, can't see what they are working on. So in terms of information, definitely it will be hashed, it will be masked, right? So to protect even myself, sometimes you look at things because you are curious, you look at things that you shouldn't look, right? So there are protection measures being applied in the bank to ensure that these informations are kept properly and safely.
Yeah, I think generally with data, I think in today's age, data is king. And you can see how there's a lot of debate and discussion about how data is being protected by different companies and so on and so forth. So it's definitely interesting to hear your perspective on it and your insight as someone working in this industry. Mm-hmm. Just looking through the questions, I think something else that I think is particularly interesting is Nicole asked, I think a lot of people are jumping on the trend of going into data science. Do you think that's a good idea? Is it just a fad, or is it a field that someone can build a solid career of?
I would say that it's actually depending on what do you term as a career. Definitely, there will be a career in every single thing you do, right? Even, for example, 20 years ago, becoming a YouTuber is a joke, for example, right? You got to tell your mom, I'm going to create YouTube videos and for life, right? People will laugh at you. Fast forward 20 years now, you have YouTuber earning much more money than all of us combined together in this room, right? So they are very different. I wouldn't say that it is whether right or wrong, whether it is just a trend. This field of data science will continue to exist for a very long time, because as long as technology exists, data exists. And the amount of data, if you go Google how much data we churn out every year, is moving at exponential rate, right? There is so much data and so much insights to be waiting for you guys to uncover, right? but we just don't, either don't have the technology. Now we have the technology, we don't have the people to do it, because ultimately you still need a human being to go and walk through the whole data point, right? Maybe someone here in the future might design a model to help me write my slides, but who knows? But if you ask me whether is this just a trend or is this something going on for long term, I would say this will go on for a very, very, very long term. So as long as computer exists, data exists. When data exists, so does the need of people to analyze the data, to find new ways to analyze the data will continue to exist. So that is my opinion. Unless everyone goes back to analog, then yeah, then I'll be out of job, right? But I don't see it happening anytime soon. Maybe not my lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that perfectly answers the question. And as we're drawing to the end of our session, I think just one last question from me is, do you just have any advice for anyone hoping to, as a fresh grad, hoping to enter this industry?
So maybe I'll end this note with how to call it. Last time Steve Jobs used to say, stay foolish, stay hungry, right? That was something Steve Jobs used to say in one of his graduation speech, which really I feel a lot of it when he mentioned that sentence: stay foolish, stay hungry. Because why? You need to be hungry in terms of you are hungry to know how things work, how to beat the system, how to change things that is currently working right now. You want to change it to be better. So people that embark in this data science, if you are the kind of people that wanted to grow, wanted to change things of how things work, or move into a new direction, new frontier, this is the role, this is the kind of job that you want to do, because it's ever changing, right? As compared to engineering, it's actually quite fixed. But in terms of data science, the methodology, the amount of data is changing every day. So for people that are curious, for people that are wanted to have a change in something, wanted to change something in life or in the world, right? This is a field I think you should be embarking in, because I would say that there is a tremendous amount of opportunity in this field. Yeah, that will be my closing statement.
Yeah, I think that brings us to the end of our session today. It's been such a pleasure hearing from you and listening to your insights in the data analytics industry. And thank you so much for coming today and sharing this with us. And that brings us to the end of our session. Again, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
This is Ali's boss. And this is how we do things at RHB.
Hey brother, everything will be fine.
Because at RHB, together we progress isn't just a promise to those who have placed their trust in us. It's also the way we work to help progress their journey. Which means everyone knows their role and works together for the common goal. Right, guys? See, no hierarchy, only efficiency. And efficiency is everything to us.
What if we try using a log wheel key?
Or maybe we spray it with WD-40?
Okay, let me try stepping on it real hard.
But does that mean that failure is not an option? No, because it doesn't matter how many times we fail. We are always trying to look for ways to improve. If anyone has an idea that improves efficiency,
What if we use an extendable wheelbase instead?
all they have to do is say it. And we will hear it. Yes, Jane? The more efficient we are, the better we can serve our customers, the faster we can accomplish our tasks,
And the faster we can enjoy what we love. Thank you. Like this.
we are proud to be the first bank in Southeast Asia to embrace Agile across the organization. RHB's agile culture provides employees with greater autonomy, better flexibility, and higher employee engagement. But don't just take our word for it. Join us today to see what RHB Agile is all about.
Who does progress belong to? It is not just for a select few. It can be enjoyed by those who celebrate priceless moments on their own terms. Progress is for anyone who seeks to defy the odds and pursue their dream. It is not restricted by age, time, or pace. Progress means bringing your business dreams to life, regardless of your background. It is for anyone brave enough to take the step they never thought they could. As the bank that believes in people, we believe progress is for everyone.